Hello everyone, this is Really01 and welcome to part 8 of What if Deku had Lelouch's powers. So today we're going for the Island event, and I'm doing this before the forest training arc because it seems more appropriate to be during that time. So anyways, let's begin. So Deku was surprised he was going to Island. He got 2 tickets for winning the sports festival, but there was a problem. He couldn't think of who to take. He decided he was just going to give the tickets to Rock and May, but luckily for him, All Might told Deku that he could go with him and he could bring his girlfriends with him. All Might brought them to the island so Deku could meet his old friend David Shield. May was also excited to meet him for obvious reasons. All Might and Deku told May and Uraraka about his Small Might form so they weren't surprised to see it, and they promised to keep it a secret. Landing on Island, they met with Melissa Shield. Everyone introduced themselves, but May went a little overboard, wanting to talk to Melissa about her babies. Melissa commented on their hero costumes and complimented Deku as being very well made. Deku mentioned that May was the one who helped redesign his costume, and May blushed at Deku's praise. They later met David Shield and he asked Melissa to show the others around while he caught up with All Might. Melissa showed them around the island with all different exhibits, new hero girl gear on display, and other famous heroes that lived on the island. Surprisingly, they were found by Momo, Mina, Jiro, and Suyu. They all looked at Deku and then at Melissa, and Mina said, "Adding another girl to your harem, are you?" Melissa, confused at what she meant, Deku was embarrassed, started blushing, and responded, "No, it's not like that." Uraraka and May were trying not to seem jealous at Mina's words, but they knew Deku well enough that he would never do that. After the explanation was given, they all went somewhere to get some drinks. As they were walking, Uraraka and May were holding Deku's hands. Melissa noticed this and asked Deku, telling her if they were in a relationship, and she was visibly shocked to hear the answer. As they sat down, they all introduced themselves, and Mina was teasing Izuku about how he should be more open with his relationship, and all the girls knew about it. Deku was unaware of that fact. He hadn't told anyone from class, only his mom knew. The group was served by Denki and Mineta, who were jealous of Deku being surrounded by pretty girls. You could hear them crying in the background. Poor souls. The group was served. Yeah, they then noticed that Deku was holding hands with Uraraka and May. They demanded answers from Deku. After Deku explained his relationship, Deku and Mineta were broken. Midoriya not only had one girlfriend, but 2 girlfriends, and they were envious that they cried. Tears of blood. Sometime later, Ida spotted them and joined the group. As they were relaxing, they heard some explosions in the vicinity and wondered if they were caused by someone they knew. After searching, they found the arena where Bakugo and Kirishima were doing the time trial. Bakugo set a new record for destroying robots with it in 15 seconds. Bakugo then spotted Deku and the rest, and he called out Deku, "You damn nerd, what are you doing here? Don't think you could beat my score." As Kirishima tried to calm Bakugo down, the girls encouraged Deku to try it and show how much he's improved. So with that, he jumped into the arena. Deku powered up to 25% of One for All, and then the countdown started. He then quickly bounced around, destroying the robots one by one with punches and kicks, finishing in 11 seconds. The girls and the crowd were cheering for Deku, while Bakugo was furious that he lost to Deku and he wanted to go again. But it was Todoroki's turn, and he finished the trial in 14 seconds, further infuriating Bakugo, and Kirishima had to hold him back in his unbreakable mode. After everyone got acquainted, and they decided to meet up at the ball, and it was going to happen later in the night. Before that, Melissa wanted to show something to Deku, but Furuka and May were a little jealous of leaving Deku alone with Melissa, but they let it slide. Melissa shows Deku the gauntlet that she designed for All Might when he puts it on and tries it out. Melissa explains how Deku that she's quirkless and how she wanted to follow in her dad's footsteps to make hero gear for superheroes. Deku, he empathized with her. He was in her situation before he got his Geass, and then when he got One for All, he would ask you too if he could help her, if he could. Later on, they got to the party. Deku arrived a little late because of his talk with Melissa and was scolded by Ida about his punctuality, using his, hand signs and his chop motions he always does. Then all the girls came. Deku saw Uraka and May, and they looked beautiful in his eyes. Uraka was wearing a pink dress, while May was wearing a ruby red dress. They both looked great, and he couldn't take his eyes off of them. Mita made a sly remark, but Deku, you're drooling. Oh, wait, sorry. I gotta do the voice. Deku, you're drooling. I can't do that voice anymore. Deku snapped back into reality as he walked towards the girls and complimented them, and they both blushed. Melissa came last, and they were about to walk in when an alarm rang. Inside the party, all the heroes were being restrained by the Island security system, and everyone was being held hostage by Wolfram and his group of armed soldiers in black uniforms, with a strange symbol on their helmets. Wolfram shared that they had taken everyone on the island hostage and not sure tried to do anything. Wolfram spoke on his walkie. Rolo, we have everyone secured. We're heading up to the with Shield and his assistant. They took David and his assistant away. Back outside, everyone was wondering what was going on. Deku went to take a look from the glass ceiling with Jiro helping him. He got the attention of All Might and had him explain. Jiro, using a quirk, was able to hear everything and they related to everyone. And then, we should just let the pros deal with it, Mineta cried. Ida agreed. Mineta's statement because they were all still students. Everyone was conversing while Deku was deep in thought. He knew that the symbol on the shoulders was the symbol on the soldiers was the Geass symbol, and that concerned him. Ida got Deku's attention. Midoriya, you agree with me as well. We should leave this to the pros. I don't think that's a good idea. We're the only ones who know what's happening, and by the time we find other pros, it might be too late. Not to mention if they have hostages. They have control of the security system. They will know if someone is onto them, and they might harm them. We have the element of surprise because they don't know we're here, and so we should try to stop them. Ida protested this, so did Mineta and Denki. Melissa spoke up. They have my dad. Please, we can't just sit around and do nothing. This changed people's opinions toward action. Well, first things first, we need a plan, Deku said, and then after discussing things, Melissa then came up with a plan that they get to the top floor and security controls where they use Melissa's credentials. Once they were there, ready, they headed up the stairs. They made it up to the 80th floor, and Mineta opened the door, causing the villains to know their location. The students hide in the foliage, waiting for the villains to show up. Villains come up, but they are surprised to find Kirishima and Bakugo, who somehow managed to get lost. The villains let their guard down, thinking it's just some stupid kid, there's nothing to worry about. Deku then sneaks up behind him and uses his Geass. With the villains subdued, they get Bakugo and Kirishima up to speed. What? Villains have taken over the island? And they have hostages? Kirishima said. So what are you planning to do, Deku? I'm guessing you and the rest of the losers have already have a plan, and you won't be here, right? Bakugo said. Although he didn't like Bakugo's phrase he was right, and he explained the plan, and just another door opened and a group of Geass soldiers came in and raised their guns as their leader stepped forward. So you must be the intruders. I was right not to trust Wolfram. His men, these people rely too much on their quirks. Now surrender or we will be forced to kill you, Rolo said. With this, Fred Deku activated his Geass and took control of the villains, but something unexpected happened. A blue light shines from the leader of the four Geass soldiers, and they regain their senses, including the villains that were captured. This shocked Deku. This was the Geass Chancellor, which only proved that these guys were from the Geass Order. What's this? Geass among the heroes? How can this be possible? Unless C2 is in Japan. Capture that one with the eye patch and kill the rest. With that, Shoto shot a wall of ice separating them from the villains. What the hell, nerd? What happened? They canceled my powers somehow, Deku said. They canceled our powers. Can they cancel our powers as well? It's not good, Shoto said. I don't think so. It seems to be made for my powder only. But anything that doesn't involve that power still works. Just be careful. They might have power similar to mine. With this, Deku and the students were on guard. They knew how powerful Deku's ability was. The students got into small groups and they tried to fight the villains. Deku ordered Mei, Denki, and Mineta and Melissa to go back to the staircase and stay safe. Deku went to fight the leader. As he got close, he vanished and then got stabbed in the back by the leader standing behind him. Deku wondered if this guy had a teleportation quirk. You probably wonder what my Geass is, but even if you do figure it out, you won't be able to stop me. So give up quietly or I'm going to have to use force, Rolo said. Before Deku could answer, Rolo disappeared again from Deku's view, this time stabbed Deku in the side. Deku could not keep up with this Geass power. Not a quirk, so he might have to be able to use the power indefinitely. Rolo attacked again, but Deku sensed something coming, so he powered up and blocked the attack with his gauntlet that Melissa gave him. That's impossible. How do you know I was here? Rolo said in shock. Deku had no idea how he did that, and all he knew was that a feeling came in his head that danger was coming. He broke Rolo's knife and then tried to punch him, but again he disappeared. Then he tried to attack Deku again, but then Deku blocked it again. Deku then managed to kick Rolo in the stomach, launching him far away. Deku could not keep this up forever. Knife wounds were bleeding out, and he was losing a lot of blood. Deku was thinking that he needed to stop this guy from using his Geass, but how? Then it came to him. Deku knew what he had to do. Rolo attacked, and Deku blocked it. Then he used his radius Geass and caught Rolo in it. But then the blue light activated, and Rolo was free. That won't work on me. I have Geass cancer. And that means you can't use it either, Deku said. And then Rolo realized that Deku realized in that moment why Deku used his Geass. In that moment, Deku used One for All and punched Rolo as quick as he could, knocking him out. At the same time this was going on, Bakugo, Kirishima, Shudo, and Shoto were fighting the two villains while the rest fought the four Geass soldiers. One of the soldiers' eyes glowed and the command Ida attacked the others. He obeyed, trying to kick Tsuyu and Mina. He has the same power as Deku, Uraraka shouted. Well, with that knowledge, Momo shot a small cannon towards the person, but it was blocked by invisible force. They noticed the second soldier was standing next to the first, with the hands up and the eyes glowing. The third just said, they think we all have the same Geass as the boy, but they have no idea. He apparently has one similar to you. He was speaking to the first soldier. The fourth soldier's eyes glow. He raises his hands and everyone starts to get lifted in the air. With no other way out of the situation, Jiro launched a sonic wave, the soldiers causing them to lose focus, and the students fell to the ground. Uraraka was able to land on her feet and fight Soldier 4 in hand-to-hand combat, while Tsuyu was providing support. Ida snapped back to his senses and charged at Soldier 1, but again Soldier 2 blocked the attack with an invisible force field. Out of the way, Jiro yelled at Ida as she prepared a sonic blast. He managed to get out of the way just before the blast hit Soldier 1 and 2. After that, Ida used the Shipro burst and kicked Soldier 1 unconscious. Soldier 2 got up and was hit in the back of the head by Momo knocking out. Soldier 4 was having trouble fighting Uraraka. When the others came, it was over. Soldier 4 was having trouble fighting Uraka, and Sui, when the others came over, it was over for him. After they tied up the villains, covering their eyes and mouths so that they wouldn't be caught by the spies, Momo helped Deku tend to his wounds by creating a first aid kit and supplies. Well, now that they have been taken care of, let's get going. Ugh. Not so fast, Deku, Momo said. You're still injured. Yeah, and you have some explaining to do, nerd, Bakugo said. Everyone looked at the two. Who are these guys? How did they have similar powers to you? And how were they able to cancel your power? And the Shoto chimed in. He called you Gios user. What does that mean? Deku was nervous. He didn't know how to answer. I don't know, Deku replied. I don't believe you. You're lying. You're probably with those guys. It's too much of a coincidence that they have a similar power to you, and they have the ability to cancel your power, Bakugo said. Everyone was shocked to hear that it being a possibility, but Uraka spoke up. That's not true. Deku, he helped us, and he's a classmate. We should trust him. You're just saying that because he's your boyfriend, Bakugo chimed in. Uraka wanted to protest further, but Deku stepped in front of everyone. Now is not the time for this. We have to get back to the security room to save everyone. When this is all over, I'll explain everything. Fuck that. I want answers right. Bakugo was about to continue, but Shoto interrupted him. Midoriya has a point. He says he's going to explain after, and I trust him. You can't be serious, Bakugo yelled. Everyone else agreed with Shota. Deku was their friend and their classmates. They had faith in him. The heroes continued to go up to the floor, Deku using Black Whip, shaping it into a blade to cut a hole through the metal doors. They had no time to waste. They needed to take the fastest way possible. They reached the server room with all the robots and tried to fight their way through, but they also need some of the group to stay back and hold them off. So Bakugo, Kirishima, Todoroki, Ida, Momo, Jiro, Denki, Mina, and Mineta stay behind to hold off the robots while the rest go ahead. They make it nearly to the room, but it's locked from the outside, and Deku can't break the door. The doors were stronger than the previous ones, so Deku don't want to risk damaging the building. Melissa mentions that there's an emergency exit they could use, but it was on the outside of the building. Deku says it's not a problem. They have two people who could fly, so they could make it. Deku punches a hole in the building heading outside as they find the exit door. Deku floats, lifting Uraka, Mei, Melissa, and Tsuyu with Black Whip while heading to the emergency exit door. Deku just yanked the door off and they entered. Heading up the stairs, Deku comes face to face with Swordkill, and they began to have a small skirmish, but Deku is too strong and skilled, so he defeats him easily. They reach the control room where they see David Shield, his assistant, and Wolfram standing in there in a strange device. Dad, are you okay? What's going on? Melissa said. Melissa, what are you doing here? You and the rest of the guests should be safely in the ballroom. What do you mean? Safe? These are villains. They take an island hostage. They try to kill us, Melissa said. David had a confused look on his face. What's the meaning of this? No one was supposed to get hurt. You were supposed to fake being villains so I could get back my device. David explained about his quirk booster and how it was supposed to keep All Might as the #1 hero. This is when Wolfram pointed a gun at David and explains that they really are villains and they were taking the device. David's assistant takes the device from his hand and hands it to Wolfram. Then he gets shot for his troubles, dying instantly. Wolfram is about to shoot again, but Deku jumps in, catching him by surprise. Wolfram uses his quirk and uses the metal of the room and captures Deku. Wolfram and Dave takes David hostage, and they go with the quirk booster in a suitcase, and they head off to the roof where the helicopter is waiting. After Deku breaks free, he tells Melissa and Mei to override security system to save the island while he goes after Wolfram. Melissa begs Deku to please save my dad. Of course, that's what heroes do, Deku said with a smile. As Deku was making his way up, Melissa, with Mei's help, are able to take back control of island security faster and free the heroes. All Might being freed goes up to the roof, going to help the students. As Deku reaches the roof, he sees Wolfram enter the helicopter with David as it takes off. Deku jumps towards catching up to the helicopter. Wolfram, seeing this is the only way to escape, throws David out the helicopter, causing Deku to focus on saving David. Deku catches David, and then he thinks they lost when All Might comes in and jumps towards the helicopter. Wolfram tries to shoot All Might, but that doesn't work, and he accidentally shoots the pilot, causing the helicopter to crash. Deku lands on the roof next to All Might as the rest of the group comes up. They're about to celebrate, but then Wolfram uses his quirk to restrain everyone. That's it. I've had enough. The client wanted this device, but he won't mind if I test it. Wolfram opened the case, but it was empty. What? What the? Where is it? It was right here. Using the opportunity, Deku and All Might broke free and punched Wolfram, knocking him out. With everyone getting free from the metal bindings, Deku relaxes. It's been a long day, and he sits down. Uraraka and May jump on him. Hey, you two doing okay? Deku asked. They both kissed him on the cheek, and they said they were fine, as they looked at the sun setting on the island. The moment was then ruined by Bakuyu yelling, Deku, don't forget you got some explaining to do. All Might and David were confused at what Bakugo meant. Deku asked if there was a private room they could go so that he could explain. After everything was under control, they went into one of the private rooms that Deku explained everything about his Geass and what he knew of the Geass Order. Everyone was shocked to hear that there was a way to get powers other than having a quirk. So, young Midori, you're telling us that this Geass Order has many people like you with abilities that can't be cancelled and with no limits, All Might asked. Well, not many Geass can only be given to quirkless people. Well, not many. Geass can only be given people who are quirkless. If you give people who have a quirk a Geass, they could go insane, Deku said. Everyone was scared to hear that. I still wonder what happened to the device, David asked. That was the real problem. Everyone saw that Wolfram had the device, but then it was gone. This is when the security officer came and said that the Geass soldiers escaped, but Wolfram and his henchmen were still in custody. With no leads and nothing to do, there's nothing they could do. Deku and his friends enjoyed the rest of their trip and returned home. Deku told Melissa if she wanted, he could introduce her to someone who would give her Geass. Melissa said she would think about it, but unbeknownst to the heroes, Rolo and his Geass soldiers escaped with the quirk booster device, waiting for the next time to strike. So this is part 8. Hopefully part 9, I can get it done sooner. Leave me comments. See if you want Melissa to get a Geass. And if this goes well and I get a lot more followers later on, I might redo this one a little bit more better because I'm still practicing. So thank you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.